3 rules to survive. Don't stand out. Accept the past. Trust no one.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Marauders Guild. This is Logan and we are just under a few weeks away from the upcoming single player game Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order having its first official gameplay reveal during EA Play. Leading up to this, I want to take the time to look back at a few other single player Star Wars games that we have come to enjoy and what Jedi Fallen Order could learn from each title, if anything. The first game that I want to focus on is one of my personal favorites, if not my personal favorite, that being Star Wars: The Force Unleashed. Now, this game was released back in September of 2008 and was one of the first steps in expanding the Star Wars universe after the prequels, along with the development of the Clone Wars movie, which was released just a month earlier. Force Unleashed had the backing of George Lucas himself and told the story of Starkiller, aka Galen Merrick, as he becomes and soon in the story leaves his apprenticeship with Darth Vader and creates what would become the Rebel Alliance. This game, if you ask me, is the perfect Star Wars game, and I'm going to be going over everything that Fallen Order could learn from The Force Unleashed.
Destroy him and bring me his lightsaber.
I shall leave at once, Master.
What's important to note is that Fallen Order and Force Unleashed take place during the same time period, the rise of the Empire. However, Fallen Order's main character is a Jedi to start, unlike his Force Unleashed counterpart, Starkiller. That doesn't mean that they can't take notes from what Force Unleashed did to create such a gripping story. I think one of the more important factors that made Force Unleashed story so impactful was the twist they added to the original trilogy. Obviously, this isn't canon anymore, but the finally created their own downfall and trying to stop them created such shock that it strengthened the story told through the trilogy. Not only that, but creating awesome new characters in the process other than Starkiller. People like Proxy, Rom Coda, and Juno Eclipse became popular with many fans following the release of The Force Unleashed, and the reason being they had important ties in building not just the story, but Starkiller as well. So when it comes to storytelling, Fallen Order must learn to take a risk like The Force Unleashed did and not worry to change our perspectives of what has already happened in the Star Wars universe. Now, I realize that it's certainly risky to do so following the Last Jedi's fiasco, but it certainly paid off in 2008, so maybe it can pay off in 2019. Now, the gameplay of The Force Unleashed is certainly a huge staple of that series. While most of the environment wasn't as interactive as one might have hoped, it was a great element of fun and control for the player. The lightsaber combat was certainly something that I felt was tremendous for the game. For some, it might have been just rapidly pressing the attack button and you mow down waves of enemies, but actually there were many combos and chain attacks that were readily available for the player to try out and use to crush his opponents. I think that's what players very much enjoyed about the combat of Force Unleashed. It gave you the opportunity to be skilled, but also let go and have fun with the enemies that you fought. I truly hope that the team behind Fallen Order considered this in developing their combat system. Now, lastly is something that is a very controversial topic in the gaming industry: post-launch content. The HD versions of the Force Unleashed game, that being the PC, Xbox 360, and PS3 versions of the game, came with DLC. It was 3 missions, 2 of which were based off the dark side ending of the game, and another taking place during the events of the main story. What made this DLC awesome was that it created an interesting branch in the Star Wars timeline. We saw Luke turn to the dark side, you got to defeat Ben Kenobi twice, and killed Boba Fett. Now, that's DLC that I think is worth the $9.99 price tag. I definitely think that we are in an age now, however, where DLC for a game is more miss than hit. So here's hoping that Fallen Order has good DLC in store if they choose to do so. Now, that about wraps up everything I want to do for this video, but there is still a lot that Fallen Order could learn from The Force Unleashed. Tell me in the comment section below something that you hope Fallen Order could learn from its single player predecessor. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to press that like button and share with your friends to get them in on the conversation as well. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Marauders Guild for more content just like this. Until the next time, may the force of others be with you.